What's up, guys? Today I wanted to make a very quick and short and hopefully right to the point video. I have a couple friends in my personal life that have recently expressed their interest in carrying a firearm on them for personal protection for specific reasons. I won't get into too many detail, but it got me thinking a little worried for these people because not that they're incompetent or stupid, but they never, both of them have never carried a firearm. One of them has a little bit more experience with firearms than the other, but one of them has, from what I can tell, almost no firearm experience other than just owning one and occasionally once every couple of years going to the firing range for a little bit of fun. The other one has more experience, but never with pistols, and obviously, since not with pistols, never with carrying a gun. So it just kind of made me a little bit worried for them that they might start carrying a gun without actually knowing what to do and how to do it correctly and safely. So I wanted to make this video specifically for these two friends. And I want to quickly talk about things that I feel they need to know in order to carry a firearm safely, carry a firearm with the intentions of protecting themselves safely. So before I get into that, I'm going to quickly talk about myself, and my experience with firearms, why I feel like I am capable of explaining this information, and I think that you should take my word. I'll then very briefly talk about some theory around this, and then I'll talk about some things. Mostly, the core of this video, what I want to talk about is some things you can practice at home in your living room in order to make your experience of carrying a firearm safer. So, my experience and my credentials. If you've watched this video, my YouTube for a long time, or if you even just recently found me and you scroll back 10 years ago, you'll see I have a crap load of videos all about firearms and training to protect myself with a firearm. You'll see that I took a lot of classes, and then I just practiced a lot of different things. I went to the range a lot, and I did a lot. I am not an instructor. I never have been, but I do have a good amount of paid instructorial experience from very well-known and respected firearms instructors in the industry, specifically tailored to carrying a firearm on your person with the intentions of protecting yourself with the firearm, okay? So I didn't go to classes and learn how to poke holes in paper from long distances. No, I intentionally went and learned to shoot other human beings with the intentions of protecting myself with a firearm. So I have various different, I've been to various different schools. The main schools that I talk about that I went to and that are known, I went to Tactical Response in Camden, Tennessee. I went there and I took their fighting pistol class twice, and I took their force on force active shooter class once. I also went to, and I apologize, I cannot remember exactly where this school is. It is also in Tennessee, but I also went to Valor Ridge. I took their Pistol Craft 1 class and their Rifleman 1 class. I will put links to both schools in the description of this video. They also have YouTube channels. The Tactical Response YouTube channel, it was under the name of James Yeager. It actually got banned at one point. I don't remember why it got banned. He remade the channel. He posted a lot of his old content. So a lot of his good old information is still on YouTube, but rest in peace, James Yeager. He has since passed, so I'm not sure. It's been quite some time since I've watched his channel. I'm not sure how much of his old content actually made it back onto YouTube after he got banned and all of his content got deleted. Valor Ridge, he also has a YouTube channel. Main instructor, his name is Reid Henrichs. I apologize. I can't remember if on YouTube if his channel goes by Reid Henrichs or Valor Ridge. I cannot remember. Either way, I'm going to put links to both of those schools' websites in the description. I'm also going to put links to their YouTube channels in the description. I highly suggest that you watch their content over mine. Everything I'm saying today is going to be repeated from things that I've learned from those two schools. Now I want to talk just a little bit about the theory of carrying a gun and the gear that goes along with that. I am not one of these guys that likes to go out and spend a bunch of money on gear. Even when I was training and taking this very seriously as a lifestyle, I was not spending a ton of money on buying new whiz-bang gear and getting all this different stuff. I take the motto of buy once, buy it expensive, buy a good quality product, and then that is your product. Spend the rest of your money on ammo to practice, or gas to get to the school to practice, or tuition to go to the school to practice. Practice is gonna make you way better at the skill set than any piece of gear. With that said, there is some important things that you're gonna want in terms of gear. So a good carry belt, a duty belt to carry a holster, and you're gonna want a good holster. What makes a good belt? A good belt, for one, is not cheap. No one's gonna, if you accidentally shoot yourself in the leg, no one's gonna care that you saved $30 on your belt. So a good belt is not cheap. It's from a reputable company. There's plenty out there. I do have a good one that I really like. I'm not gonna endorse it. I'm not gonna talk about that because this video is not about pushing some product. So what makes a good belt, good gun belt, is when you put it on, first off, you'll notice immediately that it holds your britches right where they should be at every single time. That's a good sign that it's probably a quality belt. And the reason that's a good sign that it's a quality belt is because the main goal of the belt is to hold your holster in the exact same place all the time. Your holster should never move, and therefore your britches are not going to be moving either. This is important so that every time you try to draw your gun, it's in the exact same spot it was the last time you drew your gun. And so you build that muscle memory that is exactly the same every single time. This will help you with speed and efficiency of drawing your gun in the heat of the moment. Another good sign of a good carry belt is that when you take your belt in your hand and you squeeze it like that, it should not fold. It should stay stiff and hurt your hand because it's not moving. It is not bending with your hand squeezing it. It needs to be sturdy, it needs to not move, and it needs to not bend around and be flat. One thing to keep in mind is that carrying a gun is not comfortable. It's comforting. You're probably not gonna feel comfortable wearing the belt. It's gonna be stiff and rigid on you. Same with the holster. The holster needs to have a good mounting point. It needs to be a solid mounting point that mounts to your belt and does not allow the gun or the holster to move around at all. It needs to stay in the same spot. Additionally, I prefer inside the waistband holsters so that I can conceal my gun easier. If you want to use an outside the waistband holster and you don't want to conceal your gun, that's fine. It's much more important that you're actually carrying the gun. So do what you want there. I will say for the outside the waistband holsters, and even if you're looking at an inside the waistband holster that this might apply to, I've never seen them, but I can see a scenario where it will. You don't want a holster with the little flappy thing that comes up over the gun to hold it in there. You don't want to have to press a button on your holster to pull your gun out. The holster should have good retention on the gun without any extra devices. It should just slide in there. You should hear a click when you slide it in there, and it should just stay there. That is the mark of a quality holster. If you want to buy a quality holster, you're looking in the neighborhood. It's been a while since I bought a holster. It's been close to a decade. But when I was buying holsters, $50 was a cheap holster that I was leery of. $70, $80, $90, $100, those were the good holsters. So you're not gonna find a holster at Walmart or at the flea market for 20 bucks that I'll probably endorse. It's probably a piece of shit. I'm not saying they don't exist, but most of them are pieces of shit. So that's that. Same with a belt. You're not gonna find one for probably under $100. If it's less than $60, $70, it's probably a piece of shit. And again, No one's gonna care that you saved $30 when you shot yourself in the leg. When I was talking about the holsters having, buttons or flaps that go over them to retain the gun, you don't want those things because, let's say there's a flap over the gun that you have to push out of the way to draw the gun. Well, that's just adding time and a variable for you to accidentally fuck up and do wrong in a moment where you need to be fast to defend your life. These things take seconds. If you don't believe me that it's gonna happen fast, then just pretend that you're a bad guy and you have a knife. Stand on one end of your room and run across your room and act like you're gonna stab the wall. Count how long that takes you. It's gonna take you seconds. Even if you have a big ass bedroom, even if you have a big ass living room, it's only gonna take you seconds. Well, that's how long it's gonna take someone to run across your room and stab you. So you need to be able to draw and shoot them faster than that. I'm gonna go ahead and let you in on a little secret. Even if you do draw and shoot them, they're probably still gonna stab you. You're probably still gonna get stabbed because you're reacting. You're the good guy. You're reacting to them doing something to you. Action beats reaction. You're probably gonna get shot or you're probably gonna get stabbed. It's just the way it is, slowing you down. Sometimes holsters will have buttons. There will be a button on the side of the holster that you have to press the button in order to release the holster out of it. Those are also bad because I have seen, there's tons of videos on YouTube of people going like this, pressing the button, pulling their gun up, and since they're putting pressure down on this button right here, as they pull up, their pointer finger slips into the trigger, they pull the trigger, and they shoot themselves in the side. It's very common for someone to accidentally shoot themselves while drawing the gun. That's why it's important to practice this stuff slowly with an unloaded gun. Rules. Now, when I talk about the 4 firearm safety rules and how important they are, to pretty much anyone that's never trained or done something like this, they almost always are surprised and think that it's a gimmick and that it's something that they can overlook. So, to that note, if you are one of these people that think that the 4 firearms safety rules are a gimmick and they're not that important and they're not something that you really need to pay attention, I challenge you to find one firearms instructor that you have to pay to that will teach you that doesn't teach the 4 firearm safety rules the very first thing in their class. So before you do any training or anything like that, you should be able to memorize and recite these from memory without looking at something, no cheat sheets. You should be able to remember them. The 4 firearm safety rules are all guns are always loaded. Some people will say treat all guns as if they're always loaded. Well, if your gun is always loaded, then you're going to treat it as if it's always loaded. So you can go either way you want with that. Either way, first one is treat all guns are always loaded. The second is never point your firearm at something you're not willing to destroy. The third is know your target and what's beyond it. And then the fourth is keep your finger straight and off the trigger until your sights are on target and you've made the decision to fire. So the first thing you do is, because all guns are always loaded, you unload your gun. All right? So we're gonna drop our mag, we're gonna eject the round. All right. Then after you've unloaded your gun, you're gonna open your slide, you're gonna visually look into your slide, you're gonna see that it's unloaded, and you're gonna say out loud, my gun is unloaded, I'm going to do dry fire practice. Again, that might sound gimmicky and stupid, but it's all about safety. So do it. All right, so now your gun's unloaded, you're ready to practice. The way you dry fire practice is you're going to pick an object in the room that is your target. For me, I like to do this with doorknobs on, like the door handle on a door. I don't know why. I feel like that's a good thing to practice shooting at. The way we draw is, since I have an inside the waistband holster, also probably with an outside the waistband holster, your clothes are going to be in the way of drawing your gun. So the first step of drawing your gun, you take both hands, you get a good grip on your clothes, you pull your clothes out of the way so that they're not getting in the way of your gun and your holster and getting all tied up in the machining that is the gun. When your clothes are out of the way, you take your dominant hand, I am right-handed, you get a good grip on the gun, because this is the only time you're really going to have to get a good grip on the gun while it's still in your holster. You pull the gun up. When the gun meets with your hand, you let go of with your other hand, you let go of your clothes, you grip the gun, you extend out. While you're extending out, you put the front sight over the target, you line the front sight up with the rear target, and you put all of your focus on that front sight. When you've got it all lined up and your focus is on the front sight and your front sight is hovering over the target, you pull the trigger. From there, you're going to reset everything and you're just going to go in reverse. And that's it. You're going to do the same exact motions slowly every single time, and you're just going to practice it. You're just going to do the exact same thing over and over and over and over and over and over. Now, there is another aspect of defending yourself with a firearm, in that you need to have some level of proficiency in your accuracy, which takes a whole nother skill set and different. I would have to make a whole nother video on practicing accuracy. But at the end of the day, if you're defending yourself with a pistol, it's probably pretty fucking close to you, and you're really just trying to if you can shoot the guy somewhere like here in about the same region of your fist, it's probably good enough. If you shoot the guy at all, it's probably pretty good. But you want to be able to shoot him right there. So I'm not talking about practicing accuracy. If you're interested in that, you need to find a video or go to an instructor, and then you're going to have to practice. You're going to have to go to a range and put rounds down range. You're going to have to shoot the gun. And that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think if there's something else I want to talk about. I think that's it. Remember to do the whole process slow. There's a tendency, especially with younger, but even just men at all, they want to do the thing cool and flashy and fast. Well, this is no time to be cool, flashy, and fast. You need to practice slowly, build up the perfect repetitions, and then over time, that will become faster and faster and faster, just because you are used to doing the same exact thing every single time.